Hello everyone, welcome to Read and Reflect. And today's the book which we are going to review is We Will Meet Again by Mary Higgins Clark. And this is a novel that will hook you up with suspenseful murder mystery story, and you might be guessing that until the final page. And if you are into thrilling twists and courtroom dramas and characters with hidden secrets and motive, then this book is for you. About the author, I must say that Mary Higgins Clark is hailed upon as the queen of suspense. She was an American author and was renowned for her gripping and suspenseful novels. Mary was born in New York City in December 24, and from very early age, she had a passion for storytelling. And according to my research, she wrote her first poem at the age of 7. And despite facing some financial hardships after her father's death, she excelled academically a lot. And she also attended the Fordham University. And the best achievement of hers is that she secured a degree in philosophy at the age of 50. Her resilience and determination to continue her education later in life is truly inspiring for me. As per her career is concerned, Mary started her writing career from short stories and writing radio scripts, but her breakthrough came with her novel that was Where Are the Children? It catapulted her fame over her prolific career. She wrote about 50 bestsellers, and they were translated into numerous languages, touching readers worldwide. Actually, her ability is to craft strong and relatable characters, especially women that are overcoming adversity, and that's what make her work resonate deeply with me. Now I would like to tell you guys that how I got this book. I stumbled upon We Will Meet Again during a quiet afternoon when I went to my local bookstore from where I purchased my books. It's in Chase Mall, near to Guillemot. And I wasn't searching for anything specific at that day, but Mary Higgin Clark's name on the spine of that book instantly caught my eye, and have already read some of her works before. I knew her ability of to weave the suspenseful tales, so I said, "Why not give it a chance?" As I pulled the book from the shelf, and the cover of the art, the intriguing blurb reeled me in, and it spoke of a mystery and a wrongful conviction and a quest for justice. Coincidentally, in those days, I have been reflecting upon how our society often jumps to conclusions without seeking the whole truth, and the book seems to be like a perfect fit for my mood. So whenever I get to select a book, I mostly read the plot, and acknowledgement section is must for me. I always read it. So this one begins with a very heartfelt dedication to. I must read it to you guys. It's the memory of Warren Clark, a beloved husband, cherished father, adored grandfather, and best friend. This is a very touching acknowledgement that reflects a deep personal connection of the writer that Mary had with her late husband, Warren Clark. And I believe that Warren was a significant source of support and inspiration in her life, and that seems very beautiful to me. Through this dedication, Mary invites readers into her personal side of her world, showcasing her gratitude and the role of her loved ones how her loved ones played role in her remarkable career. It sets a sentimental tone and reminds the readers of how important family is, and the inspiration drawn from those closest to one makes a difference in our life. So let's get into the overview of this murder conviction story. So the story begins with Molly. She was released from a prison after serving 6 years of the second degree murder of her husband, Mr. Gary. And Molly had been found at the scene of the crime. She was covered in blood, with no memory of the events leading up to Gary's death. Despite her insistence that she was innocent, the circumstantial evidence pointed out to her guilt and she was convicted. She cannot remember the events that led up to Gary's death, and leaving us all wondering that is Molly a victim of injustice or is she hiding something? Because when I started the story, I thought that it was something related to a split personality disorder, and the Molly was a murderer, and she doesn't remember what she was doing. So, but it was nothing like that. The story
So, in
is
this scenario, there was
way
a character,
different than I
Fran
thought it
Simmons.
would turn out to
She
be.
was an investigative journalist, and she also happens to be Molly's former schoolmate. She becomes very intrigued about the Molly's case, and she began to investigate it and all. And Fran has had gained a fame of her ability to uncover the hidden truths, and Molly's story present her with an opportunity to delve into the truth behind this So, as the
high-profile
Fran
crime and murder
begins her
case.
investigation, she uncovers the secrets about Gary's personal life and his medical practice. Gary was the head of a Lash Medical Center, a prestigious clinic, but Fran discovers that there were some troubling inconsistencies in his professional dealings, and this includes the suspicious of unethical behavior and some strained relationships with several individuals, including some of his patients and colleagues as well. So as the plot thickens, as digs deep into the Molly's past, revealing a troubled marriage filled with emotional turmoil and betrayal, she also finds out about Leona Spencer. Leona Spencer is Molly's best friend, and who died in a suspicious accident shortly before Gary's murder. Ooh, that's spooky because there is an entry of another character here who is already murdered. Okay, as Fran's investigation reveals that several people have motives to kill Gary, and among them, there are three characters that I'm going to name. The first one was Dr. Peter Black. That was a colleague of Gary's, and who has a clash with him over some medical ethics, and they have a very heated argument. And The second one was Molly's father, who disapproved of Gary's behavior towards Molly because his behavior was very cold and Molly was suffering emotionally at that time. And the third was Heather Landy. That was the Gary's former mistress, and who had her own grievances against against Gary because he married Molly at that time. But as Fran was connecting the dots, she begins to suspect that Gary's murder was not a crime of passion, but a premeditated act tied to his corrupt activities at the clinic. So it was something related to his own medical practices. But now all of us are wondering that how Molly is accused of the murder and what Molly was doing at that point, why she was having the weapon of the murder in her hand. But at this point, I
So
used
much
to think that
stressed about
maybe they were having a
her
troubled marriage,
marriage
and
that she killed her
Molly
husband.
was so
So I
much.
thought that, yeah, she is the murderer.
So the climax built when Fran's determination pays off, and she really uncovers a conspiracy involving the fraud and medical malpractice at the large medical center. Gary had been on the verge of exposing the wrongdoings of others in the clinic, which ultimately led to his murder. The shocking truth is that the real murderer was someone close to Gary and who wanted to silence him permanently. Fran exposes the killer in a dramatic twist, which you guys are going to read. I'm not going to tell you, proving that Molly's innocence and bringing closure to the case.
So, moral of the story is that justice, memory, and betrayal run deep into this novel, and the writer explores how our memories aren't always reliable, especially when the trauma is involved, and the Molly's loss and memory gaps create the suspense in this story, but it also gives us a deeper understanding that how psychological trauma can distort the reality. Also, it shows that there is a concept of betrayal within friendships and relationships. And Molly trusted the people closest to her, and they in turn betrayed her in a ways that led to devastating consequences. And this betrayal theme ties into the larger ideas of justice as Fran fights for the truth to redeem Molly's reputation. Now, I would like to tell you some of my favorite quotes from this novel. And the first one is that trust is fragile, and once broken, it's nearly impossible to repair. But sometimes the truth is even harder to face. And this speaks about the trust issues in this book. The second, which I love the most, is justice isn't about what happened, it's about what people believed happened. And this gives you the insight about the courtroom drama that was going on there. So now's the time of reading this book. Overall, I give this book a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's an engrossing mystery with well-developed characters and a plot that keeps you guessing. I was never able to guess that what the story is about. First, I used to think that Molly was an evil person. Then I used to think that her husband Gary Slash was an evil person, and you could never guess that who murdered her husband. The only reason that I'm holding back on a perfect score is that there was a couple of twists that felt a bit predictable for a seasoned thriller readers, but for the person who's reading it for the first time, I would give it a five, like 10 out of 5. That's how I'm going to rate it. But even with that, this book has a lot of strength that outweighs this minor predictability. It's an intense atmospheric read that suspense lovers shouldn't miss. I would say that nobody should miss this. And that's my review of We Will Meet Again. Let me know in the comment section if you have read it or if there are any other thriller that you'd recommend me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe for more reviews and stay tuned for our next book. Thank you for watching and see you next time on Read and Reflect.